is A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, a place where you get to be an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, the place where you get to become an exclusive member of this very entertaining group chat. We are back with a special episode today, and we are talking about the mole. And today in the studio, we have me, Kiki, we have Eric and Tracy, but I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to Eric so he can introduce our special guest.
Awesome. Thanks, Kiki, for that introduction. As Kiki said, we do have a very special guest with us today. Some of you know her as Mother. Some of you know her as the Queen of the Mole and the newest reality TV superstar that captivated everyone, Joi Schweitzer. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me on. I love the name. Who all gonna be there? It's so clever. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You never know. You don't know if you're showing up until you
exactly.
get a look. Right.
I always have to ask.
That's the main question, because if the wrong person gonna be there, we're not gonna be there.
We're not gonna be there.
So just jumping right into it, Joi, please tell us and our listeners and our viewers, how did you find the mole, or how did the mole find you?
The mole found me. I have a fitness page on Instagram. I show my workouts via like a reel or my stories, and I also speak a lot about my career as an airline pilot. And one day I'm just scrolling through direct messages and I come across a message that says, "Hey, would you be interested in this show?" And I showed it to my husband and I'm like, they are not about to scam me. We thought it was a scam. And so I ignored it. And then they reached back out. You know how you can see if somebody read the direct message. Hey, just wanted to see, if you're interested. So they know I read the message and they were reaching back out. And so, you know what? I entertained it, but I wasn't really serious. I didn't get serious until the end. I wasn't really trying hard during the audition. Or, there was a bunch of auditions and tests that we had to take. And I was just kind of going through it. And I'm like, if they choose me, they choose me. If not, I'm just going to, whatever. I'm not trying to be like a reality TV star. I never even thought about it ever in life. Yeah, I watch them all the time. I love Real Housewives, Survivor, Big Brother. But I never, in a million years, I would never have auditioned for something like this. And so after my husband and I did our homework, we were like, okay, well, this is legit. And he said, well, why don't you do it? You've always wanted to go to Australia. You're very adventurous and I think you could win. And I said, no. I said no. And then the producers were like, you have to do it. And my husband ended up answering for me on that last phone call. Yeah, he was like, right. Yes.
That's what it's about, that partnership.
Come on, husband.
Yes. He's always pushed me to go after my dreams. And he sometimes believes in me better than I believe in myself. So I'm glad he did, because it was an experience of a lifetime.
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you actually know it was for the mole? Did they say what kind of show it was?
No, They gave us a different show, and they gave us a description of the show. And I'm no fool. I Googled everything, and then I came across the mole, and I was like, I remember this show. So I watched the first season and then the fourth season, and I was like, I bet it's this. And it wasn't until we got to Australia and met with the producers. They took all of our electronic devices, and then that's the day they told us, you're going to be on the mole. It's the mole. And I was like, I knew it.
If they will wait so late to tell you, that's interesting.
Right. I guess they didn't want you guys to come in with a pre-planned strategy, huh?
Exactly. And they didn't want the show leaked, because during my audition, I said, they were asking me, okay, what kind of player would you be? And I would say, I would be this kind of player, because it seems like I'm trying to figure out who the mole is. And the producer would go, no, not the mole. And I'm like, okay, you can't make it any obvious. Like, I have a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be the show. And then sure enough, they told us in Australia it was the mole.
Awesome. So you had to figure it out from the jump. See, they cannot fool you. Your mind was the wheels were always
Yes,
turning.
always turning. Yeah, yeah. I would go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, finish.
No, I was just gonna say I was always trying to be 2 steps ahead of the players and 2 steps ahead of the producers on the show, and trying to figure out what everybody was up to. And
that's what it feels like. What was going on while we were watching?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, since we're talking about that, going into the mole, what was your strategy on how to play the game? Especially since you picked up early on, like, yeah, this is the mole, and you had already, you know, put in some homework. So what was your strategy going in?
Yeah, so my strategy going in was to be a team player, was to put as much money into the pot as I possibly could to find.
Joy.
Yeah, I'm serious. It was, and to find somebody that I could trust, because you know, one pair or 2 sets of eyes is better than one, and I did just that. Except as soon as I got in the game, my strategy changed. I started to learn about these different personalities, and I'm going to be honest, guys. Can I keep it real with y'all?
Please.
Please do.
Yep. So, you know, you see personalities on camera, and the personalities may seem very sweet, very kind, like they're in it for the money, like they're like true competitors. Oh yeah, I'm here to win. But off camera, it's a different story. I was there. I wasn't there to be famous. I was there to play a game and to play it well and to win it in the end. And so my strategy had to change. I was like, you know what? I am going to throw as much suspicion on myself. I'm going to be calculated. I'm going to be manipulative. I'm going to lie. You know, I'm not this in my everyday life, but I'm like, I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to just, you know, be cute. I'm going to play, and I'm going to play as best as I can. As best as I can. So that was my strategy, is just to act like I was the mole, get to the end, and win it.
I thought you was the mole to about episode 7. I was like, okay,
no,
yes, I did. I can pull up the group
obvious.
chat now. I was like, y'all, Joy is the mole. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I knew it. No, for me, I was like, there's no way she's the mole. It's too obvious. Like I always said, I had a couple of obvious choices and I had some inobvious choices. So you and Greg would have been my obvious choices just based on how things were going. And then I had the other two were Casey and Jacob. And I was like, because they're too quiet. Something about them is suspicious. But then I was like, hold on. Cassie, though, I got my eye on her because that whole bank thing, that's what got me, because I'm like, I know how production works and, you know, editing chops up stuff. But I'm like, if I know off the bat, El Dorado, the city of gold, Goldilocks, and then King Midas, she got to know it. Miss Data Engineer, whatever she does. I was like, she had to see that.
My gosh, you're so right. And you would have done well in this game, like better than me. So you would have won.
And so that was my thing.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna say, like, that was my hope. Like, we were talking in group chat. I'm like, hopefully we're right about, because we did eventually like kind of just settle on Cassie being the mole. And we're like, well, hopefully we're right, because if we're right, that means we have good intuition. But it's like, we're wrong and off base. We need to just throw that out the window and never say we can read people ever again.
Right.
Yes. Now, when you watch the show, it's so easy to figure out who it is early on, because I'm watching it and I'm like, it's a no-brainer. It's Cassie. When you're playing the game, though, the game messes with you. The game messes with you, and also the things that you don't see, conversations that you hear off camera, it messes with your mind, and you start to second guess yourself. And that's what I did in the end. I deceived myself because I knew it was her. I had gone 50-50 in the last, the second to last, or I'll probably say episode 7, 8, 9. I was going in on her. I was voting heavily on her and Will. And it wasn't until that final quiz is when I heard something off camera. I didn't want to believe it. I can't really go into detail, but it was just.
No, I was about to ask. I was like, what was it?
Gosh.
It was something.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It was something.
We'll take your word for it.
Yep. And it threw me off. And so that final test, I'm like, I'm just going to go all in on Will
Hmm.
because of
Not
this.
the setup.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
And also what confused me, I was in an alliance with Jacob, and you don't see him on the show, which is disappointing because we had such a good gameplay.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah. And so what we would do, we would try to figure out who was going in on who. So we knew Samira was going in on Greg, and so that eliminated her from the game. We knew kind of how Pranav was voting. We didn't know about Avery. So that whole like epic dinner fight was to get into Avery's head and to figure out where she was voting.
Oh,
To
y'all
get
set that up. Okay.
yeah.
But you set up, but it got Greg instead of Avery.
Yeah, I know. I was certain Avery was leaving that night. I did not think it was going to be Greg. But I was going somewhere with this. What was the question? Oh, yeah. So my gut was telling me it was Kazi, and I did not go with my gut, and it's the biggest mistake that I made in 2021. And then I have to relive it, with the show.
A year
And it's like,
later.
yes, old wounds are opening, and I'm like, man,
Okay.
oh, it was so close.
I want to be messy real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, be messy, girl. Be messy.
Do you think, because what I think is that, in these reality shows, they set up for a bang of a finale.
Yeah.
The fact that Will was, already on Kasi and you were on Kasi, do you think they set it up to throw something in there so they can have a split, decision?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, not at all. And what I mean by conversations that were had, it wasn't conversations that I overheard with production. It was more so with the players. And it was just some things that were said that I didn't want to believe, and it threw me off my game. It threw me off. And I know what I was going to say. Jacob and I thought Sandy had been going for Kasi, which got her eliminated, which she was going for Kasi for a long time. And the night she went home is the night she voted for Avery. So we got our weeks mixed up, or I got my weeks mixed up. And that kind of bit me in the butt too. So guys, it's the biggest mind FUCK that you could ever imagine or ever live. Couple, me being away from my family, not having my electronic devices. I don't know what's going on with work, and then having people do things behind your back, like stabbing you in the back, betraying you, lying to you. It was tough. It was tough. And I can't believe I made it as far as I did. But
So it
I'm a
almost
tough
seems
cookie.
Big Brother-ish to me, like in the sense of you guys are in this controlled environment. There's all this strategy going on behind the scenes. Like it appears that strategy was going on the entire time. So
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It was difficult for me to turn the game off. There were some nights I didn't go to sleep at all because I'm thinking of my next move, of how I can, if I want to choose chaos or violence at dinner. And, just trying to figure out who's lying to you. And and missing home. Like that was my struggle. I was really, really missing my boys at home, and wanting to get back to the States. I was tired. It was very, very much so Big Brotherish in that you had to really strategize. And also it reminded me of Survivor with the physical challenges. Yeah.
Listen. I was like, with those challenges, I was like, is this the challenge or is this the mall? Because they have y'all climbing mountains.
That mountain had me shook.
I know. And, we had a really good producer, David Burris. He produces Survivor. So, he came onto the team and he talked to production. He was like, okay, we need to do this to scare them. We need to do this to,
And so
just bring out the fear.
We're trying to put y'all to work.
It would have had me there.
Oh, they wanted to make good TV. Yeah.
Because when they had y'all going up that mountain, I was like, oh my God, this is putting me in the mind of Sheila from Why Did I Get Married, to go up the mountain to save my marriage. That's how it was feeling. And I was like, listen, they would have needed to have given me $100K to even think about going, let alone going up there for just a
I
pot
would
that
have said,
wasn't even
y'all, I'm the
100K.
mole, because
Right?
y'all would have thought it was me for real.
Yes, and a couple people were like, I don't think that they gave you guys enough money for those missions.
They didn't.
$10,000, yeah, to dangle off of a side of a cliff.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
5,000,
Fear
yes.
factor
Fear
is what it was giving.
factor. Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah, the missions were challenging. That Snowy Mountain mission, that was the hardest thing. That was the hardest mission for me.
Since you
It
brought
was-
up Snowy Mountain,
Yeah.
I'm just so curious. So obvious, you said watching the show, it's obvious who the mole is, right?
Yes.
So when you were going up the mountain and Kasi was literally like throwing these ice blocks off of the sled or whatever it was,
Yeah.
did it ever cross your mind like, oh my gosh, she's doing this on purpose? Or were you just focused on getting to the top?
You know what? Both. I thought she was trying to mirror my gameplay. I was being very obvious with my sabotage, and I thought she was doing the same. I thought she wanted like her TV moment. And then, like you said, I was very determined to get to the top because I could see that there was a big chunk of ice up there, and I knew that there was a lot of money in it. A lot of people were saying you couldn't feel the pulp getting lighter. I was cold. I was miserable.
Yeah, that was my question. I was
Yes.
like,
Me
wait, no,
too.
you different,
Yes.
girl.
Right. All I wanted to do was get out of those clothes. I was cold. I was wet, and miserable.
Oh,
And they actually had to pause production for a little bit because I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't feel like I thought I was going to pass out. So we paused production for a little bit. They had to warm my hands, get the color back in my hands. They were freezing and swelling up. And after they did all that, we could continue with the game. But as soon as we got up there, I'm thinking, girl, like, relax. Like, I just thought she was,
money.
yeah, I thought she was like wanting like a TV moment, wanting
Yeah.
to blatantly sabotage like I had been in the, previous
With the
missions
25K.
with the 25,000. Yeah, exactly.
So look, since we talking
I think
about
this is a
that,
good segue about that 25K. I know Eric, you had a
listen.
question about that one.
Oh, go ahead. You want to talk about 25K? Go ahead.
No, I just went like 25K, Joy.
I
Really?
know, y'all. But like I said before, you hear conversations like, I will do anything to get ahead. You hear these conversations off camera. And I didn't know these people in the beginning. And plus, I made the comment, guys, we'll get it back. I knew we had plenty of missions to do. I knew that we would have time to get the money back, and we did. And I went so high. I started to go 18,000. And I was like, let me add another 7,000 just for good measure, because I don't know what these people are going to do.
And I don't blame you.
Yes.
I think I tweeted, and it kind of went not super viral, but I was like, Joy said, I got to put me first. The clip, I got to put me first.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
yeah, you know what? That's what you got to do. You have to think of yourself in this situation.
It's a bit of a selfish game because you want to get to the end. Yes, you want to make money and you will make money, but you want to make sure you win the game, you win the money at the end. And I knew that we would have plenty of time, plenty of missions to make that money back if I had to, do it by myself.
So there was a thought on Twitter. Shout out to Reese because she's the one that put the thought in my head. And when we were talking about the final challenge, we were all saying like it's so obvious that Kasi is trying to tell Joy like, "Hey, girl, I'm the mole." And I saw you on Twitter say, "No, that's not how it went."
Yeah. So let me shut that narrative down now.
Yeah.
100% she did not want me to know she was the mole. In fact, when it was just us three, she knew that I was leaning more towards Will, and she knew Will was voting for her. And so at the end, they were both playing mind games with me. So it was like 2 against 1. It felt like when I look back on it, Will really manipulated the mole. He had her in the palm of his hands, and she was very, very malleable in that he could just tell her anything and get anything out of her. So towards the end, they were both playing mind games with me. And they knew that I was tired. They knew that I was missing home. And you know,
The kind of
I like to, I like to think that I can see where you're going with, you know, she wanted me to know, but sometimes, you know, people, I don't know, they,
I get where
she
you're
didn't
going.
want me to know.
I get where you're going.
Yeah, the homegirl didn't want me to know.
Yep.
It was just a nice
at all.
narrative to go with, like,
Yes.
oh, she's trying to, you know, she want the other Black woman to win the game,
Please.
you know, trying to help.
He was like, yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Come on.
I'm excited, but you know, that edit is something.
It's the edit. And I tried to talk to Cassie throughout the game. She didn't want to have anything to do with me. The only time we had a conversation was after our challenge, the pizza pigeon mission. And I was like, girl, I know it's you.
Yeah.
And she was like,
she told on herself in that mission.
Yes. But yeah, she was always up under one person, and that person was Will. Always up under him. She didn't talk to anybody else but him.
Interesting. And so speaking of like production and like how the edit, you know, can maneuver and chop and screw everything, since we're podcast, we focus on the experiences and of dynamics of Black people in this game. And as a Black woman, how do you feel like the edit served you? And did you feel like it portrayed you accurately? And how was your overall experience with the show as a Black woman on a reality television show?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm a layered person. I cried during the show. I talked about my family. I talked about my why I was there, what I would do with the money. My mom passed away from ovarian cancer a few years ago, and I'm really passionate about that charity, like the Ovarian Cancer Society. And I was going to give part of my winnings to ovarian cancer, and that was never shown. You just saw this really savage, ruthless woman, mole. You know, they painted me out to be the mole too, and you know, there was so much more to me that the audience didn't get to see. I think that I remained cool, calm, and collected, especially with the $25,000 when they were all really upset and kind of lashing out at me. I was always, instilled at a very early age to be slow to anger, you know.
Girl, that's scripture.
Yes. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. And that's exactly what I did, you know, and that's me in a nutshell. I think I remained very cool, calm, and collected. And what you didn't see is me calmly explaining to the group why I went so high. I hope that I portrayed or I represented Black women well. It was my goal. You know, I was just me. I was me, and they showed that savage side, which yes, I was savage in the game to get to the end. I was playing for my family, but I also had like a soft side that you didn't get to see, unfortunately.
I appreciate it to see, honestly, the savage side. Of course, I would have loved to see, you know, all sides, but very rarely do we really get to see, especially like lately in reality TV. I feel like they're doing this fake, like, let me coddle the Black woman kind of, you know, narrative. And me, you know, when I'm going to watch a TV show, especially a reality show, I like to see like somebody that takes risks. And I literally tweeted this. I said, okay, now if I was a game, I probably would have been mad. But as a viewer, Joi taking that 25K is what I needed to see on TV.
Yeah. Yes.
So I really enjoyed it. And they did edit you like you're cutthroat, and I loved it. And I'm gonna be very, very real. You were not the mole, but the mole was Joi. If you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like in our group chat, we got about 4 or 5 different group chat. It was Joi. I don't even care if who the mole is, because this season, let's be very, very real. And I'm gonna be very, very real right now. You were the season for me.
Absolutely.
Like from like episode 1, I was like, oh nah, Joi gotta win. Joi gotta win. We flipping tables.
Thank you, T. I appreciate that.
It was so, oh my gosh, I was so shook. I was like, no, Joi.
We were rooting so hard.
So hard, man.
I It's been tough for me. I had a difficult week, actually, just reliving that loss. A couple of castmates have watched the show twice or even 3 times. I've only watched it once. In some scenes, I've had to kind of look away or have my husband like, yeah, tell me what happened. Because, man, especially the last couple of missions with her throwing the ice off, and then just standing there.
You were like, oh my God, like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Yes. And then at the end, when I'm standing there and I lose, I'm like, man, I knew who it was. I should have gone with my gut.
Yeah.
I should not have second guessed myself and let them get in my head like they were doing towards the end. Like I knew it was her. But I deceived myself in the end, and I don't have anybody to blame but me. But overall, I liked, if I were to play it again, I would play it the exact same way. And and no regrets. And I'm a person who takes risks, and I'm bold and I'm powerful in my everyday life. And that's what I brought to the game. So I appreciate you appreciating my gameplay. That's amazing.
And I'm gonna blame Will. I'm gonna just say that.
So I want to know though, Joi. So if you guys both had chosen Kasi as the mole, what happens?
So
like
the
you guys
person
win?
So whoever answers, so let's just say I got all of them right and he missed one, I would have won. I'm sure, because I think the quiz was 50 questions. It was the longest one. Maybe it was 50, it was either 50 or 75.
50. Wow.
At the end, the finale quiz. But during the other, missions, the quizzes were 10, 15, 20 questions. But that last quiz, I believe it was like 50 questions. Yeah. So somebody was bound to make a mistake or, miss a couple. And whoever scored the highest would have won the show.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one last thing, Eric, I know you had another question, but Joi, I want to ask you this really quick. So you were talking about taking risks. And so you took a risk with the 25,000 for the exemption, what they call exemption.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take the exemption the second time when you made it to the wire cutting bomb? I forgot what the name of the challenge was. Yes, the food challenge.
That's a really good question. I didn't want to seem that obvious. And also it was the middle of the game. And I'm like, I'm doing pretty well. I think I can win this. And I didn't want to take another $15,000 out of the pot if I was going to win the money. Also, that whole like me toying with Will there, I wanted to get a reaction out of him to see if he was really there to play the game or if he was the mole. So when he gave me what I was looking for, I was like, okay, it's not him. It's not him. So I went with somebody else on that quiz. But yeah, it was just, I wanted to add to the pot because, I'm a competitor, and if I were to win the money at the end, it would have been, 15,000. So it was like, we were getting through the show, getting through this, the missions. And I was like, okay, I think I have a fighting chance.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Go ahead,
it's
Eric.
awesome though, because like I love that whole that challenge. That was amazing to watch when I found out that you were lying. I was like, oh my, Joi is an
have a great poker face.
liar.
Baby.
We talked about that vinegar.
Yes.
Oh, not too bad. I'm like, there's no way I would have
knew.
Oh, it was gross, y'all. That food was disgusting.
Oh my goodness. But again, just going back off to what Tree said before I get into my next question, like you just played so phenomenally, and there's no other way to like encapsulate that. It's like you gave us entertainment, like you couldn't read them, you couldn't read the map, you couldn't read the map, whatever. So you were flopping at maps, but you gave us entertainment. You were a mastermind, clearly, because I didn't know you were toying with Will, like again with the editing, but to like the whole I'm greedy, like I just loved it, and so. Trying to elicit a reaction from him to base your questions off of, and then the whole going after Jacob to confuse. Now we know it was to try to get Avery, but you end up getting Greg. But you were a mastermind in your own right. You gave us entertainment, so a completely well-rounded player that just, again, you were the face of the mole.
Was
but
thank you.
Exactly, and will always be.
Thank you, Eric.
No problem. And so going back to, you mentioned that you love reality TV, love watching
Mhm.
reality TV.
Mhm.
And you mentioned Big Brother, and that Hannah from BB23 was one of your faves. And so what's your favorite Big Brother season? When did you start it? And what drew you to
Oh,
Hannah specifically?
oh gosh. My mom, she was in her 60s, and she would either watch like TBN or something, and Big Brother. I'm like, and she
I ain't
got
heard about
me.
TBN in a minute.
Yes, in her 60s. And I'm like, Mom, what are you watching? She was like, I love this show. She watched from the first season, Danielle,
Mm.
the remember her, the
Yep.
black woman
Oh,
who
for sure.
almost won.
Almost
She
one.
That
loved
should
her.
have won.
That should
Yep.
have, yes,
Yes.
exactly. She should have won.
Mm-hmm.
And she would watch all the seasons. And I think when did I start watching? Oh gosh, I can't remember their names, but I started kind of like I really started watching when I came back from Australia, and the
Went on the
cookout.
bench.
I watched the
Oh
cookout.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was a great
yeah,
season. Have you
yes.
ever been on the feeds?
No,
Well, you have to be on the feeds next season. That's where the
really,
real show is. I mean, especially
yes,
you being on the mall, now you know there's a
yes.
whole lot the edit misses. And I always tell anybody that's like getting
Mm-hmm.
into Big Brother or really trying to like get back into it, if you ain't watching the feeds, even if you just pop in just a little, here and there,
Yeah,
that's where the real show is,
that's
because they
where
be
it
lying
is.
to us.
Sure.
They do.
Yes, I like
Mhm.
Tiffany and Hannah. Those are my girls.
Oh
I
yes.
liked how Tiffany took Hannah to the side and was like, we all have our friends, we all have our pairings, and this
Mhm.
is how we're gonna make it to the end with just us six. And she started naming, I'm friends with Claire, Hannah, you have this person. Big D has
Mm-hmm.
the other young lady, I can't remember her name.
Brittany.
I
Yeah.
thought yes, Brittany. I thought
Hmm.
that was brilliant. And Hannah, she was just, oh gosh, she was so smart and so strategic
Mm-hmm.
and just beautiful. She had such a beautiful personality, and she was
She
so cute
does.
inside and out.
They are.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then after that, I watched Taylor's season. I cried when Taylor won.
Ooh,
I was
We were
like,
that
Lord
was
all,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yes, I was so thrilled when she took home that win. I'm
And
glad, and I was hoping. I was like, girl, you have to somehow take Monty to the final two
have to.
as the final two.
Mhm.
Yes,
And
because
she
I
was
knew
nervous
she would
about
have
it. And
it.
I was like, no, girl, take him, take him, take him.
Yes, yes.
And did you know that her win was 20 years to the day that Danielle was in the final two and
Are you
lost?
serious? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that.
That's crazy how that
Yes.
worked out.
So wild.
Wow, that is wild. It
Mm-hmm.
was meant to. It was meant
It
to
was meant
be.
to be.
And Will
Yes.
Mhm.
messed up our streak.
No, Will didn't.
Let me leave
Will,
Will alone. Let me leave him alone.
you know what?
He did mess up our
He
streak.
was savage in his own right. He played it. He said he would do everything to win the game, anything to win the game.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
he in one interview he said that he had me in his back pocket. No,
Oh,
sir.
we did. We
He
didn't see that.
did. But he had Miss Kazi in his
Oh,
back pocket, and
I can see
we'll leave it at
after
that.
the season, and that's making a lot of sense. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These interviews are telling.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that between
Yeah.
them two. But okay.
Yeah. But I
We'll
can't,
get there.
he played it, he did whatever he had to do. He was he was savage. And I even said that in the show.
Yeah, he
I was
was a
like,
good
Will is a savage player, and this is why I think he is.
player.
And he was a mastermind. He was a mastermind and very manipulative towards the end. So he won. Whatever.
Look, you're our winner. Just know that you are our winner for
Aw.
sure.
1000%.
Thanks, Kiki.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
This is my last one I'm gonna ask you. Would you ever consider doing another reality show? Like, was this too much for you? Do you need a long break? I know y'all have a waiting period y'all have to do anyways, but I'm just curious, like, if you got that call, like, you ready to
Yeah.
go, bags packed? So your
You know-
husband like, answer the phone call for you.
Right. It depends on the reality show and what it entails. If it's I don't know if I could do another 14 week though, just away from the boys
Oh,
and not having
14 weeks?
The mole was, so we
I did
did
not know
2
it was
weeks.
that long.
Yeah, we quarantined for 2 weeks and then we filmed for 12 weeks. So it was a total of 14 weeks in Australia.
I don't know why I thought that thing was like 2 weeks or something. That
Uh-uh.
was my guess.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it
they
was,
had
it
y'all out
was,
there.
yeah, it felt like a year. But yeah, I can't say, I'd have to like, read the contract and yeah, I'd definitely do another one. It just depends on, the show.
So
How
Big
old are you?
Brother's out of question.
Curious. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric.
No, go ahead.
I'm curious how old your kids are.
Oh, I have a son. He's 5.
Fine. Oh, I have a
Yeah.
girl, so I
Oh,
understand.
do you?
Yes.
Girl or boy?
Boy.
Did he dress up for Halloween?
Black Panther, of course.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
That's what
What
I
else?
always say. Like, go ahead.
What else is cooking
Yeah.
in your stomach, Trees?
Oh.
Ooh. Oh, congratulations, Trees.
My
Oh
girl.
my God, you're
Let's do
so cute,
Christmas Day.
pregnant.
And look, let me tell you. Guess what my baby's middle name is? Just take a guess.
Joy?
Yeah.
Renee?
Joy.
Are you serious?
Her name is going to be
Oh.
Sierra Joy.
Oh, that is beautiful.
And look, I wish I could pull it up because we talk so much. But I literally have a thing. I was like, I feel so bad. I was like, I already got like monograms, like blankets. And I started watching your season. I love the way you spell your name, Joi. And I said,
Yes.
would it be weird if I switched to Joi?
No.
It's so different and I like it. He's like, we already got all these blankets. Like, we already got all these blankets. You can't do that. I'm like, man, but yes.
Yes.
So we're connected forever, I'm going to say.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And you're beautiful pregnant.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many months? You look, can I guess? Are you 8?
Yeah, girl.
You're 8 months.
8 months. Literally,
You are
I hit
tiny.
8. Yep.
I was gonna say 6.
Girl, 8. I'm due Christmas Day.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I got my little bundle of joy for Christmas.
You do.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations.
We're gonna be here talking about our kids all day.
Right.
I know.
But look, let me ask you, what was your son for Halloween?
He was a ninja.
Oh,
He was
that's
a ninja.
that's
Yeah.
cute. Oh my god.
Had his swords and his little ninja mask and the
Oh,
whole
that's
9
cutest.
yard. Yeah.
I love that.
They look
That's
so
beautiful.
cute.
Okay, sorry, Eric.
No, you're
We're
good.
just momming for a minute.
Yes.
I love it. So just going back to like when you said it would depend on the show. So clearly Big Brother's out of the market. That's 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Survivor,
or maybe.
the challenge.
You know what? Maybe.
I feel like
I'm a
it's
big
still
fan of
Survivor.
Survivor. I'm a big fan of Survivor. I was talking to somebody I went to a reality Halloween party the other
Davies
day.
party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Davies. Yes.
Maybe.
And I was talking to Abraham about the sleeping and the eating, and he was telling me how difficult it was. And I was like, oh Lord, if I could sleep on the ground with ants crawling all over the side of your face and in and out of sleep, and then having to wake up the next morning to solve a puzzle. Woo!
Had y'all on the ground with ants?
Yes, he said that.
Oh no.
Listen.
Yes, that they had their jackets or whatever they brought with them, but he was afraid to put it over his head because the ants would get on the jacket or something and then get on the side of his face at night.
Yeah, see, Survivor, I love to watch it now. Like me and Treese are newly fans of Survivor.
Mhm.
We started in season 41, but we've since went back and watched a few of the older seasons.
Yeah.
But there's no way. The eating, the sleeping arrangements, I was like,
and then running around in your underwear. Oh,
Wet socks. It's simple as that. When my socks got wet, I would have said, yeah, that's a wrap for me. That mushy feeling, I would have been gone the first night. I would have like, all right, y'all gonna get this boat, run it up. I'm ready.
First night they had a storm.
Yeah, and you guys know they set the bar really high on the mold. They treated us really well. Like they went out of their way to make sure we had our meals. Like if I wanted salad for the week, they would make sure I had salad and and wine and food, and we were treated like kings and queens. And I did something on my IG story where I'm like, ask me anything, and somebody asked me how the cast was off camera, and I said, you have those on-air personalities, and then off camera you have those like prima donnas where they're like demanding stuff from the staff, even though our handlers are at our beck and call. They're doing everything for
Right.
us, and they're acting like they're freaking Beyonce, Jay-Z, Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm like,
like, be grateful
you're not
you have
even
this experience.
Exactly. So coming from the mole and going to another reality TV show where I'm like eating rice and coconut. I try to, but granted, on Survivor, you are vying for $1 million.
For sure.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot I do for $1 million.
Yes. So I get it. Yeah.
So were you guys living in dorms, Joy? Like off camera?
No, we were in really nice, exclusive, like 4 or 5 star hotels.
Oh,
yes. They put us up in some mansions. Oh yeah, the budget was.
That's why that wasn't as big, because they was spending money on y'all hotel.
Listen, I saw y'all getting chauffeured in Range Rovers and Mercedes Benz. I said, "Oh yeah, the mole went all out."
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be mad at it.
We always had our own room. The only time I had a roommate was when in Airlie Beach, the $25,000, I stayed with Sandy and Greg, but they were still nice size, like bungalows or something, very beautiful on the inside. And one other time I had, at the W Hotel, we did have roommates. Samir and Kazi roomed. I roomed with Casey, and then I believe it was Pranam and Will. So that was another time where we had roommates. But the other times we were by ourselves in really nice rooms, really nice hotels. Yeah.
That's nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to close, I just wanted to ask you one final question, and then like you can kind of give everyone your our listeners and viewers like your social media handles and your business, name and social media. So what's next for Joy? Like, what do you have in store for the people? Or is there anything you're working on? What's life looking like for you?
Yeah. So when I got back from the show, I wanted to put everything in a book. I wanted to write about my story, what makes me, my why, how I became a flight attendant to a pilot, how I lost 60 pounds after I had my son, how I was high risk pregnancy, how I'm 40 years old, but I, have the jazz and energy of like a, 25-year-old. Also, I want to share my favorite foods. I love to cook, and I can make a gourmet meal, under 30 minutes. And so I'm putting all of this, in a book, and it's going to be called A Dash of Joy. So I share with the reader my story, and I share, overcoming obstacles. And I drop little golden nuggets in the book of how the reader can be an overcomer and be fearless and do, anything they want to do in life. And I'm really excited about it. It's called A Dash of Joy. And my website will be launching here in the next couple of weeks with a pre-order link. So you can pre-order the book. And it's my baby, and I'm excited about it. And, I dove right back into flying. I'm all over the place, all over the country. All over the world, really. And just getting back to my family. After I came back from being gone 14 weeks, I was like, you know what? I never want to go a day without saying I love you. And it made me understand, the saying, like, pick your battles. I pick my battles now. I guess with my husband, I used to like, well, why, why are you doing this? I don't do that anymore. I just let things roll off my back, and we're better communicators. We're better, spouses, and I'm a better mom, better wife.
I love
because of it. So I feel like I'm rambling. Gosh,
it's amazing. No, you're great.
We're gonna let you ramble. This is the season of joy. Come on.
Oh my God! Look, that's book 2. A move. Well, look, I love that. The season of joy. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that.
You got to take it, girl. That's yours.
Thank you.
I love it.
Percentage. I'll give you a percentage.
Girl, listen, we're going to talk after this.
Yes.
But yes, oh my God, that's amazing. As an author myself, host author, like I love that that you're getting ready to write a book and publish it. And so again, thank you so much for joining us here in this exclusive group chat. And as Kiki mentioned before, you are forever a family member with us. And so however we can assist you and help you, please know that we're here for you and that you will always have a home with us here at A, who all gonna be there.
Thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, T.
Of course.
You guys make me feel so welcome, so comfortable, and you guys are so professional and kind, and I appreciate it.
Of course.
You're so
Thank you for taking the time out for us. We appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. And listeners and viewers and those who are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And until next time.
Oh, wait.
Bye.
Wait, guys. I forgot to drop my social media.
Yes.
Yes, drop that.
The Joi Schweitzer. So Joi spelled Joi, of course, and then Schweitzer. But if you type in the Joi, it'll come up on Instagram. And then I'm Joi Ride High on TikTok. And I'll be dropping my website here pretty soon on Instagram. So thank you.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you
problem.
so
Check
much.
that out.
All right.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Y'all have a good night.